Hi, I'm Tati, and this is how my reading rush went. I ended up reading 7 books for the reading rush, so let's get right into it. So the first book I finished was Sailor Moon Volume 1. This is a manga. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It had a lot of the tropes that I really enjoy, and I really loved the cliffhanger ending of this first volume. I will definitely be continuing on with the series. I also completed the challenge of reading a book in the same spot the entire time because I read this one in the bath. Next, I read the rest of the story by Sarah Dessen, who is one of my favorite authors. I really enjoyed this romantic contemporary young adult book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I still need to get my hands on the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition with the exclusive epilogue. I used this book to complete the challenge of a book with 5 or more words in the title. Next up was my favorite read of the reading rush, and that was The Lovely and the Lost by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Another one of my favorite authors, and I really loved this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I thought it was such a great mystery and thriller, and it had dogs in it, and I really enjoyed it. And I used this one to complete the challenge of a book with purple on the cover. Next up was Of Poseidon by Anna Banks. I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars, though it might be more of a 3-star read, but I gave it an extra star just because of how funny I found it. It definitely has some elements that kind of date it and reflect what was really popular at the time that the book came out, but I actually really enjoyed most of those elements. And this one completed the challenge of a book with a non-human main character. Next up, I read and watched The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashers. This was a really good one, but it was also really emotional. Like, I cried both while reading the book and when I watched the movie the next day. 4 out of 5 stars, and this one completed 2 challenges for me. The first one being an author's first book, and the second one being reading and watching a book-to-movie adaptation. And this is when I ended up deviating from my TBR because I did not end up reading Renegades or Crazy Rich Asians. Instead, I went into a bit of a panic on the last day trying to get as many challenges as possible done, and I ended up reading all 3 parts of Avatar: The Last Airbender: The Rift. This is a comic series that continues the story from the TV show, Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it's just a series of comics that I really enjoy. I ended up giving the first part 5 stars and the second and third part 4 stars. I had actually left off reading these comics at the beginning of last year. And I always meant to continue reading them, but I just never picked them up again until now. So it definitely works for the challenge of a book you meant to read last year. So I got that challenge completed as well. And that left me with 1 book I needed to read in order to complete the challenge of reading 7 books. So I listened to the audiobook of Triton, which is the sequel to Of Poseidon. However, not as much as I enjoyed the first one, so I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. And that completed the challenge of reading 7 books. Plus, at the end of all this, I had read 2,000 pages, I believe, which means I completed the challenge of reading 1,000 pages. I also participated in a couple of Twitter sprints, and I went to one of the Instagram live virtual read-ins, which was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that. I hope they do that again. And on top of all that, I did end up making a video for every video challenge and posting for every Instagram challenge. So I got all of the badges that I wanted to get. And that was how my reading rush went. Let me know what your favorite read of the reading rush was in the comments. I have new videos every Tuesday and Friday, so subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye. The end. Next up was Of Poseidon by Anna Banks. Yep. I was gonna say Sarah Reese Brennan. I don't know why. And I still need to get my hands on the Barnes & Noble exclusive. I can't speak English. I will definitely be continuing. Yeah, see, there's a bit of a pattern here. The smaller books I read. The bigger books, not so much. Oh man, these 2 are heavier than all of these combined. Okay. Hair in my face.